Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Breaking news! This Presentergate is getting bigger and far, far worse for the person concerned. It seems that the one lad that we kind of knew about isn't alone. Now turns out there's a second message, a second man. He sent abusive and menacing messages to another young man in his 20s. And this man threatened to name him after they met on a dating app. Oh my God. This is I think it's curtains. I think it absolutely is curtains. And I think there is no reason now why they can't officially name this man. He is finished now. If this is a second one, it becomes a serial lusting after young men. We all know who it is. We cannot say, but this is pretty bad. So I'm going to go straight in on this video, but breaking. Honestly, here goes. So, bombshell new claims about the BBC star at the centre of the 35k Presentergate sex pic scandal. This is great, isn't it? Presenter sent abusive and menacing messages to a person in their 20s who threatened to name him after they met on a dating app. Wow. You are someone like this in the public eye. You shouldn't do anything like this. But hey, you have. The unnamed male BBC presenter, whom everybody knows, at the heart of the row over the alleged payment for the sexually explicit photos, sent abusive and menacing messages to another person, a different person. In their 20s, it's been alleged. The individual in their 20s claims to have been contacted anonymously by the male presenter on a dating app. Grindr, probably. They claim that they were put under pressure to meet with the star, but never did, the BBC reported. When they hinted online that they may name the individual, they allege they were sent abusive messages that were filled with expletives. This new claim raises further questions about the star's conduct. Too bloody right he is. Now, you've got multiple cases here, perhaps. Certainly, the shit is hitting the fan. There is no reason whatsoever for the BBC to be sort of circling the wagons and protecting this man if this is what he's like. He's got to be outed publicly. It's got to be done. Because you cannot be sitting there awarding these people huge paychecks at public expense while they're busy doing things like this. Especially to vulnerable individuals like the first young man who, while, 17 at the time, now 20, but was, riddled with an addiction. That makes him vulnerable. And you've got a man like this, a powerful man, a rich man, a man of influence, taking advantage of that. It's quite wrong. It's immoral. I mean, the photographs themselves, probably illegal. But it's also the question of morality, of ethics. This man is not fit to sit there and tell us about what's going on in the world and to tell us the news when he is actually the subject of the news. He needs to be outed immediately. He needs to be gone. Anyway, this comes after the BBC Director General, Tim Davie, today denied that it is odd that he is yet to speak to the star. He's the boss of the organisation. He should have had him in there day one. Anyway, obviously he's accused of paying the $35,000 for explicit pictures. We've seen that before. Moving on. According to the BBC, the conversation between the person in their 20s, this is the second man, and the presenter moved on to other platforms after beginning on a dating app. And like I say, it's probably Grindr. The presenter then revealed his identity and asked the young person not to tell anyone. The young person later posted online alluding to having had contact with a BBC presenter and hinting that they may name him. The presenter then sent a number of threatening messages, which the BBC says it has seen and confirmed came from a phone number belonging to the presenter. Now, at this point, I wanted to make something clear about my view on this. If you are a single person and you are looking for a hookup, straight or gay, or it doesn't matter, just looking for company, for sexual pleasure, for relief, whatever you want to call it, that's absolutely fine. That's your business. And if you happen to be someone who's known, particularly well, you speak to the person, you say, look, this is what it is. I'm just looking for a bit of a good time. I've got no what's the word, commitments to anyone. You know, we'll go out and have a good time, and if it works out, hey, we'll have a relationship. If it doesn't, we'll have a good time and then we'll part the ways. And that's fine. And nobody cares. But when you make a commitment to another human being and then you try shit like this, that's the immorality of it all. If you're not happy in, you know, the relationship you're in, leave that relationship. And then you're free to screw as many young men as you like, so long as they're above the age of 18 and it's two consenting adults. Nobody cares. But to do it behind the back of a partner whom you've been with for a long time and you've built an emotional and loving relationship, that is low, man. That is low. And that is unethical, immoral. And it makes you look like an odious little shit. Anyway, the presenter then sent a number. This is getting back after these alleged conversations. The presenter then sent a number of threatening messages, which the BBC says it has seen and has confirmed came from a phone number belonging to the presenter. At that moment, the BBC is officially aware that this is multiple instances and he needs to be outed. And he needs to be now outed right away. BBC News said it had contacted the presenter via his lawyer but had received no response to the allegations. Earlier today, Mr Davey also suggested the privacy of the star was a consideration in why the corporation did not speak to the household name until almost 2 months after they first received a complaint from the teenager's family. He doesn't deserve privacy now. He is a multiple offender. Today, he defended the 7-week delay between the initial complaint and confronting the presenter, insisting that the claims had to be verified first before being put to staff. He's not the investigator. And given that what was happening was a potential crime, it should have gone straight to the police. Why the BBC not taking potential crimes to the police? They should have. They've had enough practice with Harris, with Savile, with Stuart Hall. They've done it loads of times, many others. They know their own history. They should be hyper aware of what this is, and certainly hyper aware of the optics. They should have been straight there, but they weren't. Circle the wagons, protect the talent. We'll see if we can save him. Anyway, he admitted that it was fair to question why the very serious complaint was only followed up by a single call and email to the teenager's parents. And asked if it was odd that he himself had not chatted to the presenter, Davey said, "No, I think it's critical they're spoken to by a very senior manager. You're the most senior manager of them all, surely." Anyway, he said he knew. He also asked if he knew categorically whether or not the star paid for the alleged victim's lawyer. He said, "That's not information I'm party to. I don't even think that's something for the BBC," which kind of confirms, I think, that it was paid for by the star. In which case, you've got a perversion of justice, as I said earlier, because you're now getting someone putting the lawyers in, presumably with a lot of money involved, to withdraw complaints of illegal wrongdoing. And therefore, that illegal wrongdoing still exists, but they're now perverting the course of the justice system by pulling evidence. It stinks. It's getting worse. He should be named immediately. The BBC is often in the midst of quite painful and difficult affairs and storms, he said. Well, you're causing them. These are quite clearly damaging to the BBC. It is not a good situation. Stop hiring nonces, ponces and pervs then. In a major update on the case, Mr Davey said he had paused their internal investigation while the police consider if any crimes have been committed after a meeting with Scotland Yard yesterday. What do you mean? They don't need, they can stop investigating now. Hand it all over to the police. Anyway, we all know who it is, and now there's a second one. I wonder how long it'll be before the third, the fourth, the fifth, until there's a whole plethora of young men all clambering to get on the bandwagon of Me Too with you know who. And I'm coming up. It is absolutely scandalous, and it is getting bigger, and it's getting worse, and it is coming to run rings around the BBC. It is like it's metastasizing, isn't it? This is pulling in loads more people, because who knew? Who's covering it up? Who knew? Who paid for the lawyers? And now you got the second one. Who knew? Is there going to be more? Why are they protecting him? Why are they still protecting him after everything that's happened in the BBC in the past? After all the lessons they say they learnt. Oh, we've learnt our lesson. We've learnt our lesson again. We've learnt our lesson for the third time. It's been 48 lessons and this is still happening? You haven't learnt lessons. You're a corrupt organisation that is protecting monsters and perverts and ponces and nonces and all sorts of immoral, unethical shenanigans. The BBC is corrupt and needs to be cancelled. And I call on everyone out there, just cancel your BBC TV licence and tell them to go fuck themselves. They don't need your money to protect the likes of him. And I'm done. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you see here on the channel, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. We will get these buggers. And ring the bell. Leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't watch BBC, but make sure you hold them to account. Bye.